And a very warm welcome if you just joined me on my channel, Nigel's View on Things. How you doing? How you keeping? Hope everybody's safe and sound where you are. Misty Ford South, 196 degrees. Date on the video is Tuesday, 8th of August 2017, 10:34. We're looking at the FA8 Alaskan cams yet again, and they're producing some outstanding images. Some things need to be shown, and that is one of these times. Let's click through the pictures and have a look at what we're getting. We got this shaft of light, and this says to me that this is running through a lensing system. Every time I see this, we get a diffusion of light or a shaft of light or whatever it might be. You might like to argue about that, but that's your entitlement. We got this milky sort of cloudy thing that appears and gets brighter and brighter. This is part of the lensing system being reflected actually onto the camera lens. Let's click onto the next picture, and you can see that the sky is starting to get redder and redder. Let's flick through the pictures to see what comes up, and you can see that this chemtrail, maybe it translates onto the video, or maybe it doesn't. It seems to be getting quite red. As you can see there, we've got this red hue on there, but it's for you to decide. Is there an object in the sky? I think you might change your mind very, very shortly. And then we get this. Now, if we could see this would be all over social media. People would be taking videos. This is not a lens flare. This is actually a projected image, and you can see it's traveling down, and it always seems to be in the same place every time you find it, about there. But yeah, it becomes a little bit more defined, and it is the best image that I've seen. I've caught this many times in my videos, and yeah, it is spinning. I just needed to get it out there and show you. This is not a object that we can see. This is an object that's being put through a lensing system to hide it, and somebody made a error of judgment, possibly on our favour. Were they trying to let us know because they knew exactly what was going to happen? And as you can see, the clouds are very, very red, and this object is spinning. It's just one of those things that needs to be put out there and shown. And there you go, it's starting to disappear. And yet again, I've got to reiterate that this can't be seen in the sky. This could be picked up by a camera. This isn't a lens flare. This is a projected image. It goes through a lensing system, and the camera is receptive enough just to pick it up. Everything just marries up, and hey presto. If you could imagine 7 billion people having a bad day by looking at a red object in the sky, you know that there's something going on. You don't need to, unless you're living in the middle of a field in a cardboard box, you know that there's something going to happen. When this object appears in the sky, you make your own minds up. Who might say? The world's a very, very bad place at the moment. And here's a zoomed in version. What are we looking at, really? You've got to ask yourself. It's got detail on it. And then we look at this one. It's got pot marks all over it. Or is this a planet? Is this an object? What is it? Is this red Kachina? Is this a Dyson sphere? And it's spinning, rotating, whatever you like. One thing I can definitely tell you, it's very, very strange, and it shouldn't be on camera. That's all I got for you. Much love, much peace, and I'll catch you next time. Take care. I think you can agree that is a stunning picture. At any rate, getting back to the video, this is how you can find the videos that I'm going to show you. Toronto Peak, I'm going to take for instance. We're going to go down and we can have a look. We've got northeast, west and south. We've got different type of pictures there, and you can click on those and have a look. But animations is the one that you want. Pick the dates, and they're all at 21st and approximately Q6 and Q7. Right, let's have a look at the details of the clip before we start. 2017, August 21st, time is 15:01. Each picture is approximately 2 minutes. That might vary from camera to camera. We're going to be looking at 6 different clips and working our way through This is the least strangest, and well, you make your own mind up. High Point West, and the first thing I must point out is this big chemtrail haze in the background. You can see the chemtrails and you get the particulates flying through the sky when I start the video, and you'll notice there's a big explosion just underneath our sun simulator, and when I click on this you'll get to see exactly what I'm talking about. And I'll slow it down just that little bit. Boom, boom. And we see a little bit of interaction going on there, and every time I see these I see a lensing system, and we've got this object over here. You could actually say it's a smudge on the screen, but you judge for yourself. In every single clip we get to see this object here. Is this a planet? Is that reflection of that just there? Not rightly too sure. Is this a reflection, projection? It is not a lens flare. And talking about lens flares, that's absolutely gorgeous there. Let me just stop it there. We got this red object around the sun simulator, and you can see there's a little bit of interaction going on here, but not rightly too sure what that is at all. And you can see the lensing system just there. And yep, it flashes quite nicely, and the sun sets in a glorious explosion of colour. Let's pin us west, and you can see the chemtrails flying through the sky, and this gets a little bit stranger. We get that big explosion yet again. We got a lensing system just up here to the left hand side. We get this object here. We get the same sort of lens flare going on here, but there's actually 3 of them this time. And I just thought I'd show you this object here. Have we seen this object before? I do believe we have, and we'll investigate that a little bit further. But this is quite interesting, the way that just disappears into the background and pixelates just there. Very, very odd, but that's for another video. Otay Mountains West, and we still got obfuscation in the background with chemtrails flying past, but this one, oh look at that. This looks like this is interacting with our sun simulator. We got this red object around the outside, another object around the outside of that, and the best bits, what I'll do is analyse at the end of the video, and I've got something very, very important to show you, so stick around for that one. Obfuscation in the background, Red Mountain West, and I've slowed this down and I've put it on fast forward, forward and reverse, and we got the object underneath there, and you're looking at yourselves now going, what is really going on? Yeah, I'm not rightly too sure what's happening there, but I've got my theories and I will show you in a second. And it looks like there is a massive big object just behind the sun simulator, something over here, and yeah, what a lovely picture of our lens. Yeah, quite interesting. I think you totally can agree. And our sun goes setting into the background with the big explosion of colour in the background, if that makes any sense. Chemtrails flying through the air, Black Mountain West, and here you go. I find this particularly interesting, and there you go. We have something that seems to eclipse it just there. We got this pink object that's here, and that's normal in anybody's book, and yet again on this camera we get to see an object behind the sun, or the sun simulator. Now, is this visible? I'm not rightly too sure. Is this being obfuscated by lenses? Is this a projection? Or is it just that the camera is so sensitive it can pick it up? Well, that's for you to decide. But I can tell you one thing, it shouldn't be on camera. That's for sure. I'm going to stop the video just here. And Lions Peak West, what a clip. We need to look at this. And if you go over to Jeff P's channel, he's talking about these black objects that we get to see on our screens, and there's a line down there, very, very ominous. I'm not really too sure what it is. You can judge for yourself, but something quite strange happens, and it looks like somebody lifts a shield up, or yeah, whereabouts in the sky or what it is, I'm not really too sure, but we're looking at this object here. And yeah, that is right in anybody's book. I'm going to stop it there. We've got our pink object there, we've got another object there, and we seem to have another object here, and we've got this line running down here. Chemtrails in the background, like it's gone out of fashion. And just here there looks like there seems to be a bit of interaction going on, and yeah, you make your own minds up. What I've got to tell you at the end of the day is, for us to see something like this that interacts with our sun and sun simulator, that means there must be something there on camera. There can't be nothing that interacts with our sun and sun simulator. And you're going to still argue about this black dot in the center, which I'm going to show you very shortly, something that I've discovered even further. But yeah, to argue that there's nothing there, how you interpret what you see is down to you. It could be simple as somebody throwing a ball in the air that's been there for the last 5 hours, or it could be somebody playing football, or yeah, you know, if you don't believe in planets or whatever coming in, you've got to ask yourself, what is this? Anyway, let's analyse some of the previous footage and see what I found and come up with, and then we're going to talk about this black dot in the middle of the sun, which is our sun simulator, and I now think I have definitive proof of that. Red Mountain West is the bit of footage I would like to analyse, and I think it's outstanding. I've caught this object before, I do believe, and you can see the interaction from the bottom to the top, and that's right, because, and backwards, and then forwards, and what we're going to do is freeze the frame in a minute and stick the clip into a PaintShop Pro program, and there you go. We adjusted the brightness and colour, and this reminds me of an object that I caught about 10 months ago, Friday the 30th of September 2016, Cape Fanshawe southeast. Leave a link in the description for that. I do believe that this at the time was a projected image. So if you look at this image and you look at the other image, they look identical near enough, and I believe that this is the same object, but this was back in 2016, 10 months ago. This object I made a video about, is that a red planet in the sky? And if this is a lens flare of the sun, which I don't believe it is a lens flare, I think it's a projected image, it looks very strange. Yellow one side, blue the other side, and it looks like it's got plasma tails coming off it. I'm looking at this object here. Is this the same as the last one that we caught? They look very similar, and this come in at a very last moment. So if we look at all three images, are they the same object? Is that at all possible? One last thing I've got to show you is Lions Peak West before we talk about the sun simulator and what I've discovered with the LED. Last time I saw this, I made a video about it. It was called Sun Jumps in the Sky, Hologram Sky, or Clouds, and this is exactly what it reminds me of. What we're looking at here, I'm not really too sure, but we get to see what looks like a shield lifting up, or what is going down, or really not really too sure what's going on, and it produces this image just here. And yeah, you've got to ask yourself what is going on, and we seem to have two objects just here, and if we take a close look, it seems like it's got dots around the outside, and there seems to be an object just here. In a video I made called Projected Sun and LED Simulator, I was talking about if I put a black and white filter on here, what happened. And let's have a look. As you can see, we got our black mark on the sun, or sun simulator. I believe this is an LED device, and many people have tried to tell me and tell you this is a CMOS overload. So if we stick a black and white filter on it, what we should get is black and white, and we don't actually get black and white, we get a ring around our LED bank. And yeah, it should be black because it's black. At the end of the day, what a filter does is decode the information that it's given, and obviously the information that's embedded in there is two different colours, and that is really good for us. So if we change the filter and reverse the image, and what we get is exactly the same image but reversed. But one thing doesn't change, is the colour of the centre of the LED banks. Now if I take all the filters away and put it into a negative image, you can see that this image absolutely changes 100%, and we get this white object in the centre, as we should do from a colour image. When I change and put another filter in, this is exactly what happens, and this filter here is called Colour Sketch. It only does what it's supposed to do, and the most amazing thing about it, we can actually see the centre of this object spinning. Los Pinos West, and that's what we're going to look at next. I've put a colour filter on there, it's called Colour Sketch, and you can see that it doesn't pixelate absolutely everything, it just pixelates the bits and pieces and makes it into a sketchy sort of like, yeah, you can see. So when we get to see something like this as it comes through the sky, it should tell you that this is man-made. This is not real in any way, shape or form. This is not a camera overload. You can see it spinning. Yeah, you know, you try and debunk what you're seeing, and there you go. At the end of the day, it's meant to be a black spot, but when you put a filter on it, it shows us that it is coloured in the middle. Not only is this object coloured, but it's also rotating as it goes through the sky. It can't be the filter that's doing it, because that can't be programmed to do something it's not recognising. So obviously if it's recognising something, that means that the centre of this object is a different colour, and it has colours in it, as you can see. And for me, this just proves that this is the sun simulator. This is the LED sun simulator spinning through the sky. 100% proof to me, but it's for you to make your own minds up. For me, I'm just pointing out what I see, and what I see is wrong. It's not necessarily correct, but what you've got to remember, the weather, the volcanoes and all the other little bits and pieces, the earthquakes and the world in general, how it's all going, it just reminds me of a film, The Day After Tomorrow. Anyway, much love, much peace, and I'll catch you next time.